Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
This is William Neal.
And this is Marlene Cuellar.
All right, and welcome to our end of year, end of decade Open Your Eyes. We got a lot of surprises for you, but we're going to start off with the weather. And we have Crystal Rosales on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
All right. You're ready to close off 2019?
Of course.
Good. You have a good party planned?
Well, family time mostly.
That's just as good.
And that means that there'll be no showers, right? As usual.
Well...
Putting you in a tight spot here. All right. Tell us what we can expect for this last day of 2019.
Well, we are expecting some cloudy spells with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms, mostly along the coast this morning, then inland this afternoon, but they will be decreasing and becoming isolated tonight.
All right.
All right.
And what about our winds?
The winds will be from the east to northeast at 5 to 15 knots, and the sea conditions will be slight.
All right.
And for the actual day itself of New Year's?
Well, good news. Mainly fair weather with isolated showers, if any.
Okay. That's a good compromise.
And how about how hot it's going to get?
All right. The high temperatures for today will be 82 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 86 inland, and 78 in the mountain pine ridge.
All right. And tonight?
Tonight will be 75 along the coast, 70 inland, and 65 in the hills.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that update, Crystal.
You're welcome.
We do want to wish you a happy new year in advance. Is there anyone you want to send out special greetings to?
So, my family, especially my daughter, here in Corozal.
Okay. Well, I hope you bring it in well, and we wish you the best for 2020.
Thank you, and we wish all a happy and prosperous new year from the National Met Service.
Excellent.
And the same to you and your team there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That has to be a happy feeling. She's clocking off for 2019 after this. I'm so done with this year.
I wish if only it were that easy.
Yeah. All right. So we got a bit of motivation for this morning. And so it's time for our eye opener. And our eye opener taken from dailyom.com goes like this. When our thoughts become consumed with worry, we become a beacon of worry to the world. If prayer is an intention that we announce to the universe in order to create a desired outcome, then our every thought is a prayer. This includes thoughts of worry as well as of hope. All thoughts are subtle creative energy. Some thoughts are more focused or repeated more often, gathering strength. Some are written down or spoken, giving them even greater power. Every thought that we have is a part of a process whereby we co-create our experience and our reality with the universe. When we use our creative energy unconsciously, we create what is commonly known as a self-fulfilling prophecy. In essence, when we worry, we are repeatedly praying and lending our energy to the creation of something we don't want. The good news is that we can retrain our minds and thoughts to focus our energy on what we do desire to bring into our lives. Since most worry is repetitive, it will take more than one positive thought to counteract the energy we've created. The simplest antidote to worry is affirmations. When we hold these positive thoughts, repeat them often, speak them, and write them, and refer to them throughout our day, we are using focused energy to create positive results. We can start right away, together. I am a creative being, using my energy to co-create a wonderful world. I know that I create my experience of life from within. And as I do so, I also create ripples of energy around me that echo into the world. My positive thoughts gather together with the thoughts and prayers of others. And together, we create enough positive energy to heal not only our lives, but the world we share.
Yeah, I felt that moment at the end. It's interesting because one line resonated with me, and it's that one that speaks to worry being repetitive. Because for some reason, when you're worried about something, it's all you can think about. No matter how much you tell yourself, you know, I'm not going to deal with this particular issue, and everybody's, it will be fine, it will be fine. You dream it, you eat it, it's so hard to conquer that monster, you know, of worry. I don't know if it's because we're so fear-driven as opposed to being optimistic about things working out. They usually do in the end, but you feel as if though it's a part of the process for you to actually go through the worry, to actually get to the end, and you feel as if though, well, the worry was worth it because you kind of implemented some kind of steps in between.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
we just do it.
We do.
Yeah. And I think we rationalize it as well.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I have to worry about it because what if? Sometimes that's good. Sometimes I think we are able to do a bit of risk assessment when we worry and perhaps put in preventative steps or plan for plan B, C, D, E, F. And when it comes necessary, we're glad we worried about what could go wrong. But I also think that the patterns in our mind, the negative thought patterns that we develop are so much more destructive than we realize. And I think that's one of the things that I've really kind of been paying attention to more. We tell ourselves some things, and it can be so many different ways that you do it. You tell yourself like an absolute, you know, I am a terrible person because I just shouted at my kid. I'm a bad parent. I can't make them breakfast. I'm a failure in life because I just can't catch a break. I'm never going to be anybody because none of my goals that I set out to achieve I've been able to achieve. And we have such a hard time separating who we are from little actions. And so we allow the worry of things going wrong to just completely overtake us. And so we start off a little, we're that athlete at the beginning of the race saying, oh man, he looks like he's gonna beat me, or I don't feel well, I'm gonna lose. And we really put ourselves off on the wrong foot. And it takes so much work to redo those negative thought patterns. I don't know why we have them. I don't know why we develop them, but it is hard, but we gotta work on it.
And you know, I like to think that worry, for me, by my definition, is more things that are out of my control. And so I worry those things will somehow send my best of plans, you know, asunder totally. That's how I look at worry.
Yeah.
If I have to plan, then I think it's within my control. And of course, anxiety comes with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lessened form of worry, simply because you want to do well.
Yeah.
So you put in all the necessary work. And then you have to just not worry about not winning or not doing your best.
Yeah.
Because you have done all the preparation that's necessary. I think for me, when I put worry in a category, it's something that is totally out of my control, that could totally ruin what I've been working for, you know?
Yeah, what you
But,
worry about
yeah,
is in that
what I
category.
worry about,
If
yeah.
you worry is in that control category. We just don't like to think about it.
But good energy is
All
at
right.
the end of the
but
day what you're
affirmations,
seeking.
that's
Yeah.
the closing point.
Yeah.
Affirmations are great. And I think that we really underestimate how much the things we tell ourselves can really resonate. You know, we see all these little kids now doing affirmations. They're the cutest thing. I have my niece saying them as well, so I just love when I hear her saying, I'm brave. And, you know, I mean, if we allow them to believe that from such a young age, allow them and not tell them, don't do, you'll get hurt, you know, you may fail. We could really be looking at a completely different generation very soon.
Yeah, affirmation is such a powerful thing.
Do you have a personal affirmation?
Not one that I vocalize, but I think I do. I have this kind of, I drink water and wait, listen.
I'm listening.
It's your eyes that are not working. No, I kind of, drinking water for me is a way of calming my spirit and kind of bringing me in tune with the universe kind of thing. So when I feel like I can't control myself, I just simply drink water. And then you get that little nervous pee that you need to run to the bathroom. And then with that, I tell myself, okay, see, it's going to be all right. Your body is working the way it should.
Consume and release. Okay. Really nice.
So what's your affirmation?
Lots of information there. No, I wanna create affirmations for the upcoming year. I think I've tried to work on like negative thought patterns, like being conscious of what I'm telling myself. So that's the first start. And then developing what's going to be my counter to that is important. So
are you one that you'll stick these affirmations on Post-it notes all over the bed?
You trying to tell me I'm like Mary Jane?
Nope. I would never say that on TV.
That? Let's go back to our lineup for this morning. That
all
was
right.
your motivation for 2019. Pay attention to what you tell yourself and don't spend all your time worrying.
And drink lots of water.
Yeah. All right. And that can be your goal for 2020. Speaking of goals for 2020, that's our morning tea, which means it's time for you to chime in, jump on Facebook, get on Instagram, and post and tag us, or just comment on our live stream on Facebook. What is your biggest goal for 2020? Dum, dum, dum.
It's a good one. Oh, I'm supposed to respond, or you will?
No, I'm waiting on you.
You know, I've not sat down and really thought about a biggest goal yet, simply because I think when I do, I'm not a big resolution, like write it down kind of person, but I think there are things that I hope to do better. And so I try to focus more on those things.
Yeah.
You know, like a better goal for me, I wouldn't say one of the biggest, but a better goal for me this year is definitely stick more with my exercise routine. So that it just in terms of stick to it more. Like I had, you know, 3 months and then I fell off the wagon, and then 3 months and then, you know, that kind of thing. So I just want more stick-it-to-itness in terms of exercise.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
one.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm like a lot of people. I think my goal for 2020 is like my goal for 2019, like my goal for 2018, and maybe this entire decade, to be honest. And that's just balance, because it's the ideal. And, and I think balance is just something that we need to always be striving towards, balancing your personal goals, your professional goals, your health needs, getting in the exercise, getting enough sleep, you know, making sure you spend time with the family, time alone, time with yourself, putting in towards whatever professional goals you have. It's a lot, and it's a lot of juggling. And you know, imagine if you're a parent too, and you have kids, and you have that responsibility. And I know we all struggle with it, so it's just being able to work towards a balance that works for me. It doesn't mean the scale will be equal. I pretty much accepted that's never going to happen, but something that lets me feel like I'm at equilibrium.
Yeah, I like that. The yin and yang of life is something that, you know, we can all aspire more to. And I think you have to somehow understand that, you know, you can't should or could on other people, and you definitely shouldn't let people do the same for you, because there are times when you will be off balance simply because life itself throw things at you that you have to deal with at the moment. And that's just the way it goes.
All right. Now, on to lighter things because it is New Year's Eve and we're closing off 2019. We're closing off this decade, in fact. I really am just, I don't know, in 2010 it never really hit me, or 2009 never really hit me as much that we were starting a new decade.
Maybe
Sometimes
2020 just sounds weird, right?
yeah, it really sounds future generation.
Yeah, but there are no flying cars.
Yeah.
Thank
the
you, Jetsons.
But some of them did work out.
Yeah.
We did get our video calls. There are holograms.
That's true.
What else is there? I think some of the style is actually coming. That's a whole different story. But that's our plan for today. We're going to be celebrating along with you. We're going to close off 2019. We're going to take a look back at the entire decade. We had some guests coming in to share different perspectives. And pay attention if you are somebody who knows trends, if you've been watching trends, maybe you can chime in on some of the answers here because we'll take a full recap of what the 2010s brought
From the
us.
biggest song to the biggest dance.
Yeah.
You remember your favorite dance?
No.
That you did on here?
Oh gosh, was it I don't know. I do punta. That's what, you know, I love Shanice who works in there. Anytime they say put on music, it's punta. I can punta, that's it. It gets me as far as
All right.
But
So-
you kicked off the last decade with us. You'll close it off with us as well. Great to
That's
have
right.
you here. I know a lot of our viewers miss your face.
And I miss being here.
Okay.
You know? So
Well, we're
it's-
happy to have you.
And a decade sounds like such a long time, but it really flies. You know, a year at a time. It's been a long, good ride.
All right. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have a recap of the 2010s. It's going to be a panel discussion, very fun, lots of trivia. You can chime in on Facebook. And then we're going to be talking about what we can toast to, right?
That's right. And then, of course, we'll be ending up with the Radisson Fort George Hotel and Marinas end of year party, which has become a tradition for many people. But before we go to break, of course, we want to wish happy birthday to Charlene Bruce and
That's right.
Zarik. Their birthday will be actually tomorrow, but we know quite a number of people would be great to be born on December 31st.
Yeah, or the first.
Or the 1st.
Yeah, because everybody celebrates for you. That's what I
Every
told
year.
Charlene. Of course, we know Charlene from LA Fashions. It's just like the perfect, everybody gets dressed up and all glam, and they celebrate you.
Yeah,
That's what you
that's
tell
right.
yourself today. That's your affirmation. All right, we're going to take that break, and when we come back, we'll be recapping the 2010s here on Open Your Eyes for our New Year's Eve special. Please stay tuned.
With over 100
And welcome back. It's now 3 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we're getting ready to actually talk about the 2010s. Sounds like such a distant memory. I don't know if most of us can think back that far back, right? But nevertheless, we have a panel of people who will prod to do just that. We have, first of all, we have Jackie Castillo, who's an artist. Welcome to the show. We have Brighton Codd, student athlete, and of course one of the staunch advocates for volleyball and its development in the country.
Good morning.
We have Ashton, DJ Ash Coleman, social media influencer. Of course, he has his own show. And then we have Thomas Diesel Gongara, all right, marketing consultant. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Morning,
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
So the first question, of course, is where were you when 2010 broke?
High school.
Wow.
Second
Okay.
form.
Second form.
Yeah.
I think I was
Gosh.
I was transitioning from a previous job into a new job in San Pedro.
Yeah, I was doing the same. I was finishing up my bachelor's degree and I was transferring from working with children with disabilities to working in my field, which is arts and entertainment, which was very exciting for me.
Nice.
At the time, any anxiety, any worry about going into the 2010s?
Well, for me, it was a huge life decision just to move out to San Pedro because I had applied for a job out there, and I found out 2 days before moving that I got the job. So I had to drop everything and pack up and leave the city and head out to San Pedro. And it was a big deal to me because you're coming into this new, environment where you've heard so much about the party life and the fast life and that kind of thing, and you don't want to get caught up in all of that in the midst of focusing on your career. So it was a big life decision for me and one that I will never regret. Because I learned so much while I was out there. I had the best mentors you could imagine. And it was really a life-changing decision for me in all aspects.
And I find sometimes when you are forced to do something that's difficult, like that becomes that life-changing moment in your life because transitioning from somewhere secure, like working at an NGO, impacting change. I was volunteering with the Red Cross. And then moving into my actual field, which is arts and entertainment, I was like, oh my God. Everybody was like, how are you going to do that? Like, you really think you want to survive? It's been 10 years. Let's not say how old I am.
10 years older. And for you, Brighton, because second form.
Interestingly, 2010, I was not even an athlete. I was just discovered in 2010 by Matthew Smiling and Fred Gabriel, rest in dead. And that's when I started playing basketball and just started to explore my athletic abilities. So I guess 2010 was the decade or the start of my athletic career.
Okay. Ash?
Well, 2010, I'm in Brook, so.
So you're in high school.
No, but everybody will know, like, me and my family is true, we come from a real poor background. So 2010, I mean, a real struggle. Just for me, if you actually go to high school, was a struggle. I actually got to high school late, because we were really broke, like I said. So I just made a try fight for it, continue just to finish, so that's what I was doing in 2010, man. I made a struggle, honestly, and I made a try fight for something because I may feel like, education important, which I still think is important, but what I notice, like with life right now, is something that not really play a big role, like who you know and what you could actually do other than the education we are getting, you understand? So, but it's still kind of important. But that was my focus. I just want to finish, that was my fight back then.
Yeah. All right. So 2010, what were you doing, William?
I have no idea.
I don't think I can recall recognizing the start of a new decade at the end of 2019, the way I feel it now in 2019.
Right. Because it was 2010, right? And
Yeah.
it had jumped from 2009.
Yeah.
I don't think that sentiment had existed.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that was present in 2010 was the fact that we survived Y2K, transition.
Yeah.
So and so
Well,
it was
man,
10
yeah.
years and we're still here. I
Yeah.
think that's the only thing that I could possibly like.
2000 was big. I remember that.
You know, the strange thing is, thanks to social media and like Facebook, they give
Yep.
you all these memories.
Yep.
And then I start going like, wow, that's 9 years already? Or 10 years? You know, I think we were already
We were 1 year into the show.
so I think a lot was happening in terms of you just pushing yourself on a daily basis that,
True.
you know, you were adjusting to so much on a daily basis that it just
it was
became,
completely different.
yeah.
I think we that first year we realized with the popularity of the show that it meant a lot more expectations, a lot more recognition, and it was a really interesting year.
I
moving
have a
into
question for
2010.
you guys though. How did your life change when you started doing a morning show where your face was on TV every day? Because like I have my own issues with people recognizing my face. Or like the other day I was in Brody's and I had my son with me and someone walked up to me and said, "Miss, you related to Jackie Castillo?"
I love when they ask me that. I said, no, it's my sister.
I was in mom mode, and so I was like, oh my god, I have to always remember, I have to look halfway decent even if I'm going to the grocery store. So like how has that been for you guys the past 10 years?
I'll let Marlene go first.
Well, William has been a very good mentor for me because he had been through this around the
Right.
same age that I started, early on with Lauren. So I think that was a really good help for me in telling me what to expect. Because social media changes things, and you know, I've been doing the news for a while, but there is a huge difference between somebody who reads the news, because you're just reading what the editor writes, and actually presenting your own thoughts and your own questions and your own personality.
Yourself.
Yeah, but you know, when I first started the show, I used to tell William, everybody's gonna make fun of my laugh. You know, like they haven't heard me laugh yet and asked me to do it. But silly things.
It's true.
The record. It's weird, I guess, but also I also really appreciate it. You know, like I think when you meet people who are so genuine in saying that they love turning on the television in the morning and seeing you, or in how in depth you can go with an interview, I do appreciate that, and that part feels good.
Okay.
And I agree. I think the hardest thing was actually, strangely enough, if I don't speak, a lot of people still don't recognize me. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah?
my voice that they know more than
I think
my
they're bald.
face.
Not anymore.
No,
Way back when there was the high top,
Yeah?
medium top.
that wasn't 2010, by the way. No, but still, you know, like if I don't speak, like people look at you, they look at you,
Like,
and
you
then
look familiar.
I know it was you, kind of thing. But I think television can be, or any kind of notoriety can be a force for good. It can also destroy you in the process if you don't manage it correctly.
Right.
And I think I just made some decisions, and we both did,
Yeah.
in terms of one, we were co-hosts, you know, people always put you against each other,
Always.
you know, that kind of thing. So we managed that.
Yeah, it was an
Kinda.
openness.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an openness. I think naturally being on television, people like to do. I'm sure like people always want to compare
Yeah.
to artists or other athletes or
yeah.
other hosts. Like it's
And social
DJs.
media, like I think 2010, it was the start of social media.
Oh,
High five.
like,
Lad.
Well, High Five was a little bit before.
Five.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
because I was already
there
on
was a
Facebook.
transition.
There was
There
a
was a transition between High Five,
to Facebook.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
right
it's around
the
that time.
2009,
So
2010
this
time.
means we can hope we get the internet question. So here's what we're doing. We have a bunch of themes, right? And you're gonna pick
I
one.
love the look of terror. Terror and
So we
horror.
dig
didn't
up all
study
your
Ash
personal
has on
life
his
and
face
pictures.
right now.
and
He's like,
stuff
oh
like that.
my God.
And this is your revelation show. Anyway,
And
you're gonna pick
anything
a theme.
that you say, we're doing this disclaimer, anything that you say will be broadcasted.
I think in my ears I can see that quote.
Just remember that. All right, so let's start with you, Brayden. So pick a theme, and we're gonna try to think of stuff that came up in the 2010s.
And you can say one thing immediately about it without thinking, right? And so, Brighton, let's establish some rules, right?
Uh-huh.
So you'll read
No,
the
there's that
question
timer.
and you point to anybody and they have to answer,
Wow.
so that there's this little bit of yeah.
All right, go.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Jackie. The individual artist. Historically speaking, the artist was a unique talent, a particular person that had a rare ability to paint, draw, or sculpt, or build. Today, there's an artist in everybody, and it's just a matter of finding the skill. Painters, writers, spoken word, every imaginable material and concept.
So is that a question, or is it just, or am I supposed to agree, or?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I guess it's true.
It's looking at the concept of artists, how it's evolved,
How it's evolved.
over the 2010s.
It has, like I said, social media has been so impactful in creating artists and entertainers where you never thought you would find them, like fat win cutters, right?
Yeah.
You know, like you look at that young boy and you can see that if he was guided and molded, he could be like a William Neal, just because he has that type of personality and charisma. And we would never really know that if that platform of social media wasn't there and trending wasn't a thing. And so I find that a lot of people, Belizeans as a culture, we are a very creative people. We speak a certain way, we express ourselves a certain way. We're good with our hands because I have to work with a lot of artists. And what I find is that because perhaps our economy, you know, isn't geared towards everybody making it and you're competing, people have had to find some interesting ways to survive. You understand? So people come up with their own products, you know, seafood, seaweed for hair, you know, using leather to make accessories. That's creative and it's also entrepreneurial as well.
And so many of our artists actually just start online. They're just
people become artists out of necessity. I started singing because I needed to create money so that I could pay for school. And I found out that people like to listen to me when I sing or when I'm talking. So it naturally evolves. Sometimes necessity creates that in you.
So 2010s allowed what for artists, would we say? Just having
a platform.
A
wider platform. It allowed a wider platform.
I think it also redefined what is art. Art was a very narrow focus, you know. You had this platform where people could literally go crazy, and that crazy could be rewarded in so many ways, you know. Or what we thought, and I use the word crazy in a way in terms of just instead of subscribing to this narrow path of, you know, art before you had to be able to draw and do a particular thing to just being anti-art if you wanted to be, you know?
Like the banana duct tape to the wall?
Oh my God. So,
do you know about that, right?
That really floored me because really it's the branding of the name that made that such a big thing. Like if Beyonce did that, maybe it would also have sold $1 million. But if Jackie go try duct tape on a banana,
that's gonna be iconic for 2010s. Come on, like that's just unbelievable. Any other thoughts in terms of the evolution of art or artists in 2010s?
I've been a graphic designer for 20 years, and in the 2010s is where I saw a big boom in that particular industry in Belize. Not only did we have more access to education on graphic design, even through online platforms and stuff like that, but you had the older, smaller core of graphic designers that there were in Belize mentoring that many more people that the industry kind of grew exponentially. As we're sitting here right now, both Ash and I are designers. And you know, there's countless other people that I know out there that I didn't know them as designers, and in the last few years, they're designers and good designers at that. So we have lots of great artists here in Belize, not in the traditional sense of being able to draw and sketch and stuff like that. Because when I started graphic design, you had to know how to do that and then convert that to digital. Now you can do everything through vector graphics and so on. And you don't actually have to know how to draw, you just have to have the thought in your head. And there's also an emergence of so many resources out there online for graphic designers as well too.
The software makes it easier now
the software makes it so much easier now. So that's one of the things that I've noticed for sure over the last 10 years.
Nice. All right. Next
Brighton.
up, Brighton, you can chime in.
Oh, I was just going to say that I've noticed that over the past decade, more and more businesses, more and more artists in the entertainment industry on a whole, they have become more culturally intelligent in the music that they're producing, in the movies that they're producing, because they're recognizing that the more that you could reach the cracks and crevices of the entire globe, you're going to make more profits from that. So they're becoming more culturally intelligent as to what we want to reach, where we want to reach, the people we want to reach. And so they have been implementing that in their like strategic plan with the way how they go about producing these goods and services.
I like that because I think that's a very solid point for us in Belize. I think we're finally learning that now as we move into this decade that you're not local, you're global. You know, and it's important to recognize that, you know.
And the true meaning of richness of culture.
And there was one, I mean, I know I want to ask this, but there's one interesting thing I discovered. Like when I went to Jamaica and I told people I'm an artist, they said, oh, you paint, you sculpt. But I had to say I'm an artiste for them to realize that I'm a singer, right? So I always wonder, how would Belize ever
differentiate
using, and I wanted to ask them, why do you say artiste instead of artist? That's a different.
That is so more fancy.
Yeah, I know, right? So we gotta move on. That was actually a buzzer. Apparently, we have a timer.
Oh, we have a timer. Yeah. Okay, good. So for the history books, guys, so many moments that will go down in the books in the last decade alone: 9/11 terrorism, air travel revolutionized, climate change altering the weather.
So we could just
hurricanes,
go into different ones.
World leaders, first black president, first celebrity president, Brexit, El Chapo found guilty, and president impeached.
Those are some that we're just like stimulating. We have
She's the
local
youngest,
ones too.
well, one of the youngest.
So I think. No,
Major
I think
historic moments.
One thing where I really into like the climate change and stuff like that. And from what I'm seeing, like the world in a trouble. You know, the world is in deep trouble. I mean, a lot of the ice they melt and the Amazon fire and all of that stuff. It really they affect the world, and I don't know how long we could last as a human race. The way how the things set up right now, I really feel like they need more stuff to protect the earth and the Amazon. And you know, people need to be more responsible, man. And you know, all the plastic where we're throwing in the water and all of that stuff that need to stop. You know, so that's the way I see from.
That's quite fitting with the generation. It's actually the younger generation that have become the activists for climate change, which is great. You know, I mean we all love watching Greta Thunberg.
Greta Thunberg, exactly. And even before her, 30 years ago, there was the girl who's now 30-something years old, who was an advocate for climate change back at the UN in 1990.
Wow.
And look at where we're at now compared to then. We have talked about the issue time and time again, but what proactive measures, what steps are we implementing at the governance level to mitigate these issues on a serious level? Because there are things in place that we're doing, but how is it that we really and truly start to put our finances where it's necessary to ensure that we are countering these issues?
Let me just jump in here so we can ensure we get it in. What about local context? What kind of history was made locally?
I was just about to say that even on a local level, I think in the last 10 years has seen a serious boom in tourism here in Belize. There's been year-over-year increase in arrivals both on cruise ships and overnight. And that leaves a footprint here in Belize. You know, although it's been a good thing because of the creation of jobs and the boost in the economy and stuff like that, there's still a footprint left behind in terms of the damage when our protected resources aren't actually protected the way they should be or managed properly. And I think that's one of the things that are going into the new decade that we really need to take a serious look at, is how strict we are with tourists in terms of our resources. Anybody who travels anywhere as close as Mexico, the Mexican Riviera, can tell you that they're so strict over there with their laws and their rules in terms of littering, in terms of interference with the reef and the wildlife and stuff like that, that they leave little room for error.
Yeah.
And here, yes, our tourism industry is fairly young when you think about, on a global scale, but tourism has been a thing here in Belize long enough that we should have our act together by now.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think it's something that we really need to work on.
Well, remember,
You know, you said something I really wanted to tap on. Before 2010, if you left Belize, you had to have your whole speech prepared. No, not Brazil. I didn't say Brazil. It's below
Belize.
Mexico. You know, it's
Oh,
part of
I
Caribbean. It's
I
not
still
Central
go through
America.
that.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, well, especially in United States, you
Yeah.
travel and it's just, oh, Belize? My friend was just there. Somebody was just
Yeah,
there on a
exactly.
cruise. That's
Yeah.
on my bucket list.
yeah, a lot of people know about
There's a
Belize.
lot more
A lot
recognition.
more people, yeah.
I think one of the most interesting things about the 2010s too was the launch of the 2030, the Horizon 2030. And so it kind of encapsulates various areas where Belize government wants to focus on in terms of sustainability.
Yeah.
So we're at 2020, so it's a good time for the government to measure the first 10 years, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Do you think it has been people though, in terms of just being, shopped out
It's
so
been
that
shopped
people
out.
understand?
I don't think there has been enough information given to our to the Belizean people about why specific things, like why is this government so focused on infrastructure? Why are we focusing on the gender policy?
Yeah.
Why are we so focused on climate change and sustainable
I think that-
development,
yeah.
entrepreneurship? There is the 2030 exit, the Horizon 2030.
on this so bad.
But it's true,
I
right?
think it has to do with the fact that we're way behind as a country and we're trying to catch up.
Yeah.
If we look at, for example, we have environmental policies and laws in place, but after being implemented, where's the enforcement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you go out in the field and you actually see these things, these violations occurring, you're like, but this has definitely been occurring for some time. Why hasn't the law been enforced time and time ago?
That's
Littering.
across.
You spoke-
That's
you spoke
across.
of littering.
Yeah.
But I think that's a key
Across
issue.
the
If we were to
board.
look at the development in 10 years, that would be a whole different story too. But I echo your point that sometimes the policies are there, but we don't have the enforcement. But what resources are given for enforcement? Because that's also a huge issue. But also 2010s. We also lost. We saw some of the big things locally, politically. Who wants to talk about that?
In terms of what?
Yeah, we saw a first prime minister go third term.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That was
That was
That's
actually
one.
the first time.
Yeah.
Yep.
We-
I think there's also a lot of the, I guess you can say, the older guard are exiting, retiring, and we have a lot younger
The younger
people
politicians.
running
Yeah.
in government and stuff like that. So sometimes, and it's hard to keep up with who all is involved in different municipalities and stuff like that. But when I hear certain people who are chair people or who are alcaldes in their villages and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I reach a point where it's like people that I went to school with and stuff like that, that it makes me kind of proud and realize that the generation that I came from is really
Stepping up.
stepping
Stepping
up.
up. They're
And it's something for, even from the previous term, I started saying to people that we need to have
Okay.
more
all
younger
right.
people in government.
I can't not get these two in because I'm surprised when I said it. The referendum, which
Yeah.
is
Oh yes.
huge
Yes,
Correct.
that
in
was
terms of
huge.
history.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we also buried the father of the nation. We lost him in the
Yeah.
2010s. Yeah, 2011.
2011.
actually.
Yeah, right.
2011. Okay.
Yeah. Any
Yeah,
other
those
one
are
that you can think of?
No, I think the referendum
Well, we
was
lost
huge.
some artists too.
Yeah.
We lost Lila.
We lost Lila. We
Yeah.
lost Mr.
We
Peters.
lost Mr. Peters. We lost
Yeah.
Paul Labor.
Yeah,
We
some
lost
major-
some
Man,
major
those would
artists
be-
in
And even some
2010s.
younger ones, John Jay.
We lost John Jay. Yeah, we lost. Yeah,
We lost Rosita.
Miss Rosita.
Yeah, from the
Rough
dance
years,
company.
Yeah. So 2010s was a decade where we lost some of the, you know.
And I think as we're talking about that transition, because very often the challenge is whether you'll have new people stepping up, but I think our biggest challenge will be how do we create that space. And I like the fact that social media, to a certain extent, emboldens a lot of people to actually step into a space if they want it badly enough, you know. So we're going to see some really interesting times, I think, going into the 2020s because
These are like
people will demand to be heard, you know.
This
Yeah,
is like
for sure.
a new generation to me, like, nobody really want to live that kind of old style again. Everybody want be out there and actually do things and be seen and be heard, you know, this and all, like back then everybody kind of shy, only a few people really want, know that like everybody wants to show
have a
themselves, you understand? So,
Yeah.
True.
All right, what you got for us?
All right. The future is female. Put some respect on her name. Women finally getting their respect as the pillars of society. For example, women shattered ceilings in sports, art, media, politics. The Me Too movement, redefining beauty. Beauty costs became a lot lower. Selfies and filters became a thing, especially for women.
In the 2010s.
And then fashion in terms of, you know, leggings, red lipstick,
All the-
feminism, that kind of thing.
All right.
Women with tattoos, women with dreads,
Yeah.
you know, the multicolored hair, etc.
Androgynous people, you know.
Yeah.
Who wants to jump in?
What else?
What's changed in the 2010s?
Well, one thing that stood out to me is my day job at Bell Trade. When I first started working there about 5 years ago, I came into an environment where my general manager, my CEO, and my minister were all women. And that was an interesting thing for me. It was interesting to have such powerful women in my presence and kind of learn from them and see the struggles they have to go through as women, even as women who have already been well respected for many years.
Yeah.
They still had certain struggles they had to deal with when it comes to dealing with the men in government and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now it's reached a point where my minister, Honorable Tracy Taker Panton, she to me is doing big things and has made leaps and bounds, you know, in the ministry that I work in and Bell Trade as a result of that.
Yeah.
And I continue to see more and more women doing big things. And to be honest with you, I'm very proud of our Belizean women.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot more to go in terms of.
Well, I was gonna say 2010s we creeped. We still creep.
I think I know.
We made progress.
Right, we made
still
progress, but
creeped.
I feel in Belize, I think what social media has done is created some awareness of where we want to go and the direction of where we need to be, but it's still very, very hard.
Yeah.
Because one of the issues we had with social media was the leaking of photos and videos, and the young ladies who went missing, you know, and the responses from our culture about, I mean, you know, how you could say that, oh, I have to say in context of what Belizeans say, oh, she must say they look for man or something. And I'm like, first of all, let's look at the safety issue. We don't know what the issue is, you know, we don't know why that person's photos was leaked or anything, but the visceral reaction from both women and men. I think in some ways, us women hold each other back a little bit more by supporting an idea. And we have to work on that, you know?
That's a really powerful thing that you're talking about, because I think on a whole, we have not developed a national sense of empathy for people who are victims.
Right.
Very often, we turn and look at the victim. If someone is killed, right, and I talk about the value of life or hurt in any way, people look at that person and see what they have done in the past that makes it right for that person, you know?
Right.
A woman dresses a particular way, that's why she was raped, you know? A guy is shot because of his past, or no matter how much he's changing, we don't want to believe that he's changing at all. That's why he got it, you know? So I think somehow that's a part of the consciousness that you're talking about that still we have to work on in terms of a collective nature, you know? I think very often about Shakira and her son, you know, and how she took that into,
and
you know, to say,
into
listen,
a
I want
movement.
this to be a movement and stuff. And instead, when I'd go on social media, because I'm more an observer than a commenter, you know, you see people actually making it seem as if though, you know, she's doing something wrong, you know, instead of saying, how can I support you to actually make that something significant for all of us?
Right.
I mean, we just had a post where a woman was threatened with rape, you know, as a way to be malicious towards a man. And I think, you know, I said it on the show, I said, it wasn't that surprising to me in a really, really sad way, because we see comments all the time on missing girls, on rape, or sexual assault, and there's just this, it's often been said that we a very alpha male culture, and I think it's changing, but we are not anywhere near
Yeah.
where we
But
need
I think
to be.
as a mom, being a mom to a son has opened my eyes to a lot of things as well, because a lot of the responsibility also falls on us educating or speaking to our men. It's not even educating, communicating, you know, communicating a certain level of sensitization that yes, I'm a woman, and yes, just because I am asserting myself and my power doesn't mean I'm trying to compete with you. It's just that I'm trying to find my voice. You have your voice and I have my voice. Let's use it together, you know? And sometimes it's not balanced. Sometimes our culture, we're like, we have to focus so much on 11 days of activism, and then we don't have the men involved. So it's like, you can't just...
Or the men jump up and ask the woman, where's the men's department? Right? Tell me about that, right?
Yeah, definitely there needs to be the fusion or inclusion of men into these discussions. We must become a part of the conversation to become a part of the solution.
And men are feminists too. We used to talk about that. There's a whole he for she movement that men support women in equality.
And I think, I know we have to wrap, but it's the either or mentality that we seem to have, you know. You can't, because in the Caribbean and in Belize, men are the ones who very often don't complete their education. They're disadvantaged in a lot of ways, whereas globally, you may have to be pushing for women to, you know, be educated, etc. We have that reverse in the Caribbean and in Belize. And I think it's how you create that space, not necessarily saying because women are fighting for equality, and I use the word fighting very loosely, that it means because you're helping women that you shouldn't somehow tailor things to help men. Because
you don't want anyone left behind.
Because then they'll be marginalized.
Look at that seriously. You know,
we have
that's a major challenge for us.
But we missed part of the fun part of looking at the futurist female, and I really wanted to touch on it. So for just extend just a little bit. So the fashion part. Here's the thing. I was thinking about this, reflecting back. So here's some evolution. One, natural hair, embracing your natural hair. That was definitely a 2010s
Well, I've been embracing my natural hair from a long time ago. So I embraced my hair from 2002.
Appreciating curves, right?
That's
so
right.
Victoria's Secret canceled their Christmas show, fashion show this year for the first time ever. Because of lack of diversity, the women are thin. Models are no longer, you know, if they're too thin, they're actually criticized in major fashion shows. But then we went the opposite direction, because then now the big curves are really something that people envy. So you got people drilling in the gym, but also getting plastic surgery to put in the curves.
Put in the curves.
So it's like we never end up in that. So natural is beautiful, but then we got to put the false lashes, and we got to put the false something else somewhere. You know, like.
Well, because it's beauty. It's not necessarily not appreciating what you have. It's just enhancing it to some extent. And I think that goes both ways. That goes for men and women.
One of the things that I think became a lot more acceptable in the 2010s too is women with body art as well.
Tattoos.
I'm a big advocate for body art. Obviously, most people know me as somebody who has tattoos, and I also do body piercings as one of my side hustles. But it's become a lot more socially acceptable as well as in the workplace. You see a lot more women even in you know, positions of power who have body art and stuff like that. I won't call any names, but I've worked with people who are like managers and general managers and stuff who have gotten body art, and
it's more rare
well, I
to
have
not have tattoos. It's more rare to not have tattoos than to have tattoos now.
Correct.
But I think you know, the redefining of beauty is very important as well, and it creates a space for people to really champion uniqueness. You have to do something. You have to find, because life is a journey, and you have to find something that sets you apart from everybody else. And I think that's what's beautiful to watch, that people are coming into their own and they're recognizing that, you know, my lips or my freckles or my whatever is the thing that people used to give me a hard time about. Now the thing that makes me stand out, you know, and different.
But also, a lot of women, they will tell you to catfish too. because these days, they're not like, but then now they have to put on a whole face. Like,
One whole filter.
Oh,
Several
like,
layers.
yo, they're like, when they go in at the back.
Fishing in the
Well,
open.
We do have one like that actually. That's really funny. But I do want to say the good part about the 2010s that we can acknowledge is that men aren't left out of the fashion conversation.
That's
Right?
right.
Yeah.
William, you
Yep,
wondered
true.
why you were here because you'll take a lead on this one.
Hello. I mean, look at him in
He
his
used
suit.
to wear his skinny pants and people would be like, what?
Yeah, I used to take a licking for colored jeans.
And he had to take the pants to go get tailored to be skinny.
Oh, but then fitted is nice now. Do you
And- and
remember?
just say, look
I
at it
have
now.
an uncle.
Look at all these guys
He
wearing
used to-
fitted pants in here, man.
I had
very
an uncle who
fitted,
used to
but,
wear these big shirts and thing, and then now that
Guilty.
he's with his girlfriend and she used to buy him fitted shirts, and he's like, I'm not wearing that.
Yeah.
And now he looks so nice in his fitted shirts, and it's like transition from this. I used to hate it. Oh my God! I used to just look what I call ragamuffin. Sorry,
Yeah.
and I mean for use that.
Men
but
fashion in the 2010s. Tell us
it's
about it.
fitted
A
and
lot of
nice.
a lot of the fashion that's coming, it's fashion that's coming
Retro.
back from
Yeah.
like the 1980s.
So
like,
true.
you have
Yeah.
gun mount pants and
Yeah.
you
It's
have
a different name.
right. There's a different name with skinny
Your mom
jeans now.
schooled you a bit, right?
That's what we in marketing call rebranding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Rebranding. So
Yeah.
that's been a
Even
big
velvet and suede. I was shocked to see that was a trend last year.
Yeah.
The dresses and everything and the pants. Guys were not afraid to wear a velvet pants. I was like, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or colors.
You're welcome.
Or colors.
They wear florals.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
you remember when that was
interesting.
taboo or
These
pink?
days, too, like, people don't really care about matching everything. Now it's like, you could wear like a
Yeah.
red shoes with full
Yeah.
black, or you
Yeah.
could, you know, now things change, especially with like the fit.
Yeah.
The fit
Yeah.
now, I
Yes.
think
Correct.
it's
Fit
big
now,
time.
big thing.
Now, like, everybody want to look neat and nice, you know.
And I think at one
Beards
point,
are a
I'm
thing
trying to
now.
remember.
Yeah,
I'm trying
beards.
to remember the term metrosexual.
Yes.
You know, at one point that became a part here, where you know, like people would look at you if you prim and you
Yeah.
know print
Yeah.
too much.
Right,
You know,
right.
but now everybody does it. That it becomes, you know, you're not afraid to wear something, whether it's a color, or
Yeah.
a pattern, or whatever.
Or being clean, like
Yeah.
well
Well-groomed
groomed.
and stuff
You
like
know,
that.
your barbershops, most barbershops clean up eyebrows
Eyebrows.
now
Yeah, yeah,
too. That
correct.
used to be like really taboo for men.
And on the flip side, one of the things that's become acceptable in fashion too is to mix your casual and your formal wear together. Because you see a lot of people, especially in international fashion, you'll see a lot of celebrities out in a jacket like this, but sweatpants and sneakers. And so
We gotta
mixing
move
your
on.
fashion has become a lot
Another
more
big one
acceptable.
was hair. Even everybody's hair has been just so different, and not just natural, but color.
Yeah, look at this.
You know, dreads. I remember when I had dreads the first time. You know how much flack I took for it to go and work at a bank.
Yeah.
I was like that, and I was like in 2002, 2004. And then flash forward to now, and you know, dreads is like, it's just a
Yeah.
natural
Yeah.
way for you
Yeah.
to wear your hair.
Except in the police.
I was just gonna say
I
that.
didn't want to touch that one. We have to move on.
That's 2010.
We have to move on.
That's 2010.
It is. Next question.
You ready?
Yeah.
The power and scope of music / sports broaden. The musician and athlete are gods. You know? The ability to connect to fans and following got easier
right.
and stronger. The biggest artist of this decade, question mark, is it? The birth of fan armies and their mobilizing power.
Locally.
Beehives, the Barbs, Swifties, Monsters,
Okay.
Rihanna Navy, Arenators,
World
the
music.
Believers, Justin Bieber. World music gains center stage. Example: Afrobeats, reggae, reggaeton,
And the Palacio.
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
Paranda. Constant debate over their wealth
and
and influence.
Yeah.
I like that
should
biggest
say-
artist of the decade
Oh, yeah.
Who's the
question.
biggest artist of the decade?
Internationally or globally?
International, never local.
Man, that's a gigantic debate because it depends where you're talking about.
I would
If
say
it-
Probably
Beyonce.
I still say
I
Beyonce.
still say
Beyonce.
Yeah.
You know
She's
what?
highest grossing, right? I mean, depending on your
I
level
don't
of
know.
success.
I don't think she has close.
No?
Who?
Beyonce
Who would
drop
you
off.
say?
In the past
Who would
10
you say then?
years?
The
it-
earlier
it-
part
but
of the decade, she was
Yeah?
definitely like
She's
she
the
was-
highest grossing for the
Yeah.
past
Maybe in the
10
last
years.
couple of years,
Yeah.
though,
Last
but
10 years.
maybe
I
last
mean,
couple of years, but the
listen.
last 10 years.
songs like Single
And the second
Ladies,
is Rihanna.
Single Ladies
Gotta put
and
it
stuff
so.
like that. I mean, you'll never forget those
But
songs.
Jay-Z got $1 million?
Yeah,
billion,
but
$1 billion now?
No, but we're talking
Yeah, but-
female.
We're
Oh,
well,
female.
no, we're
We're
not
not.
talking
We're
female.
off of the
I think
female
we're
now.
talking as a global brand because remember, Beyonce just doesn't have her music. She has her music. She have a makeup. She have
Cosmetic
production. She
Yeah.
have
Oh.
perfume. She has
Endorsement.
Ivy Park. And this is why Rihanna is second too, because Rihanna has
Her
Her
makeup.
her makeup
her fashion,
and Fenty,
Fenty.
her fashion line. She has Puma. She has, so it's like, it's not just it's not just the songs that you release. It's all
Everything
of your
that you
grant everything that you
endorsements and
invested,
your
right?
So-
projects that you
And we
start.
saw that with 50 Cent too. You know,
50
Oh, yeah.
Cent used to do
Power.
that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
used to do that.
In terms of television and all of that, yeah, power.
Water.
The water, the vitamin
Caribbean-wise,
water. correct.
I'd say Caribbean-wise, I'd say Chronix. In terms of, he has been so good at pulling together a group, and he's one of the highest grossing Caribbean artists. Moving, because it used to be Machelle,
Yeah.
I think.
No, but what I was gonna say about Chronix is he moved beyond the market he was used to. I mean, when I saw Chronix on Jimmy Fallon, I was like,
Right.
Yeah,
Caribbean
correct.
person. Oh my
Right.
God.
And he did it twice. And he did
Not
it
only
twice.
that, but what-
And Taurus Riley hasn't done it as yet. I don't know why.
What
Yeah.
Chronix has done is he's kind of emulated what
Bob Marley
used to do. Bob Marley's day is one, maintain the culture behind the music, and two, use his music as a way to influence other artists on how to shape their music if they want to maintain their culture through their music.
Right.
Which is something that I see that, not to bash anybody here, but I think we kind of fail at maintaining our culture through our music here, and we follow trends. So we have a lot more, albeit very talented, hip-hop, dancehall, reggae artists here. We're failing to fuse our cultural music
agree.
with those music and push them out to the world
Right.
Yeah.
market,
Right.
which is one of the things that I constantly tell artists that we need to do. Take your culture,
Yeah.
fuse it with your music, and push it out to the
Well,
world.
I think that's what
Let me
Hala
give you-
did. Unfortunately, he's not really considered Belizean.
Well, that's true. But one of the things too that an example I will use that some people don't even realize, an artist like J Balvin, who is Colombian, there's a lot of Colombian influence in the instrumentation of his music. There's a lot of, believe it or not, salsa influence behind his
Yeah.
reggaeton.
Yeah.
But because reggaeton is hitting larger globally, he
found a
pushes
way
it
to
out,
merge it too.
Found a way to
Yeah.
merge it too.
You're even hearing like steel band in some of the instrumentals for
Yeah.
music. It's pretty cool.
Correct. Yeah.
But
We talk about sports
Yeah.
too, and in sports, I guess Brighton to talk about sports in terms of I don't know.
well,
I don't watch sports, so I cannot say because it said art and it said music and sports.
but we had big sports people too that popped
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, correct.
I think a big part of it, though, is that people understood clearly that when you get an opportunity, your 15 minutes of fame can make you, you can extend it as long as you're creative, and you can go into as many genres
Correct.
of life. I'm not talking
Right.
of music, of life. So you don't have to, because I am not into perfumes, that doesn't mean I can't partner with somebody.
Well, Usain Bolt have a whole
Right.
restaurant in
Yeah.
Jamaica. He has branded his name into like so
Yeah.
many different
Yeah.
things, and he's retired. Like how you
So
could just
it's
retire.
it's how you
Yeah.
do that, But a lot of people just thought that you had to be, you're recognized for one thing and you stay in your lane kind of thing. No.
But you find it a lot in sports and music. Like in sports, you have like someone who's a basketball player, but would have like so many different,
Tennis shoes,
right.
apparel,
Yeah.
Well, what I love too, and I saw a picture pop up, so maybe it'll come up. Colin Kaepernick. I love that people
Right.
are also recognizing the power they have in the following that they have, and he's such a great example. Really, just the ending of this decade, maybe it's previews of what 2020
20
will
was going to be like.
and that I could definitely look forward
One
to.
of the things I'd like to touch on too is the number of people in the music industry in Belize who have managed to infiltrate the international market.
That's
Because now
true.
we have artists who are out there actually producing bigger artists
Okay.
who are actually putting out music of their own.
Yeah, like King Kosa.
Like King Kosa,
right.
and then, for example, you have like Stig writing for Machelle.
Right.
and you have
Super J and Michelle did a collab together.
Yeah.
that was a big song. And then for example,
And even music producers, Ken Doyle has worked with quite a bit of the Caribbean.
Kenny has, yeah.
And
Us female artists need to step it up, man.
Yeah, I think a couple of our artists have actually gotten record deals on bigger labels outside as well too. I think
TY.
TY, Big Bang.
Yeah.
All of these guys are like doing big things.
All right.
And
So now we're going to do rapid round, right? I'm just going to throw out the theme because I want us to cover it and you guys just jump in. All right. 2010s was when health got sexy. All right. Everybody was trying to find the newest trend to improve their physical health. All right. Tell us about those trends for the 2010s.
We're looking at the athlete.
Definitely, you see a lot more people getting more active, getting into the gym. One point in time, I think in this decade, we noticed that there were a lot of people coming after work and going around Ring Road in Belmopan. And then we started to notice like pick up in Belize City. You see a lot of people at Marion Jones.
Yeah.
So definitely people are becoming more health conscious.
Yeah.
A lot of people, vegan was a huge thing this past decade.
Yeah.
A lot of people started
Because it's not
eating
just
vegan.
health, it's health and wellness.
Yes.
Right.
If I could,
Yeah.
chime
Wellness
in.
became huge. Yeah.
Wellness became very
Yeah.
huge,
Yeah.
like yoga and meditation and, drinking more tea than coffee. I'm not a part of that crowd. Drink coffee. But, and I also see it has made a lot of leadership, a lot of people who are in management positions have started focusing on meditation and yoga
mindfulness,
to kind of manage their their handling the stress of life.
I think in the 2010s it was really revealed that a lot of the very successful people in the world were already accessing Eastern medicine or Eastern practices. And now it became mainstream in the Western part of the world. So we get it too, right?
clearly, I'm not the authority on physical health, but I'm a
mental
big
health.
advocate for mental health wellness. So taking care of your brain, taking care of your soul, as a matter of fact, too, has become a big thing, and it's something that is actually, something that should
Very
continue.
necessary.
Very
I think
necessary.
for the first time I've seen Belize speak so much about mental health.
Yeah. Right.
Such a topic that we can actually talk about. And because first we didn't used to talk about it, but now we do.
And I think on the local, definitely the fact that we're a little bit more open to counseling, or getting help
Or
when
therapy.
you need it.
There's still
therapy.
more
There's
professionals
still-
needed. I was going to say,
more-
not enough to meet the demand.
Yes, because insurance doesn't cover certain things.
Yeah.
Even if you have health insurance, it's one of the things we have to look at in Belize.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's where mental health was actually one of our trends for this year, but we didn't want to call it just a trend. There are all these other terms that came up, like you're being ghosted, gaslighted, catfished. By all means, chime in and tell us what other terms have been born.
In the 2010s?
Yeah.
Man, turn up. Turn up was our turn.
Lit.
Yeah.
Lit.
Fleek.
Fleek. Bay.
Bay, oh
was
my
a thing.
god.
Bay, oh yeah, is Bay
Yeah.
still like B?
Yeah,
Of
people still use
course. People
Okay.
still
And the
use
screen says
that.
situationship.
Situation. I heard that one.
Oh my god.
What was that like?
There was also flirtation
Everyone has
ship.
had a situationship circumstance.
Then
What other terms?
there was also similar to that flirtation ship was one too.
Oh, I didn't know that
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
Sexting.
Sexting.
Yeah,
Sexting is
sexting was a
becoming
big one.
Yeah.
Nudes.
Nudes. Sending
became a
nudes.
thing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And all of them came
other
with
things?
consequences.
Yeah.
Of course.
All of these things carry a negative connotation. Actually, now that you think about
But
it.
I think the challenge is self-management and the fact that you like to court danger. A lot of us are adventure,
Adrenaline
adrenaline
junkies.
junkies. And so while, you can look at other people and see the negative repercussions for certain actions, I think there's always going to be this, how do you manage yourself? When no one's looking, or when you think no one's looking.
Yeah.
Well, in this world, you kind of function with everybody's looking. Like, I don't know, has that changed for you? Like, there
I
is
think people
no
still feel
privacy?
like they operate
Yeah.
in the dark,
Maybe you're locked in your
Yeah.
box.
Especially with the advancement of technology, advancement of social media. You have Instagram, you have WhatsApp,
Yeah.
you have Facebook, you have Twitter.
Yeah.
You have all these different social mediums, and now you're starting to wonder, like, is my personal life really like
Personal.
personal?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
You just have to not put it there.
And then there's
But I think some of
Are
it
you not
do
a part
on-
of the 2010s if you're not active online? Like, are you?
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
there
kinda
are some
feel that
people
way.
who I know
feel
that
that way?
don't
You
have
kind of feel
social
that way,
media.
like,
Yeah.
correct.
social media. Like,
It's almost if you don't
like
share.
two worlds.
Yeah.
Like,
A funny thing is that one of the things that's emerging now globally, I'm not sure if we've reached that point yet here in Belize, but there's that thing with mental health and spending so much time on your devices, not spending time with people or enjoying the world
Yeah.
around you. So there's a lot more people becoming aware of the fact that you have to limit your time online now.
Are they
Yeah.
though?
I
Because
think
I go to a
What it's
concert.
doing
I
to
go
the
to a
younger
concert.
generation, they don't learn communication skills,
Yeah.
and they actually don't learn how to
How
read
to play
social cues.
with others.
Yeah.
And then there's some people.
So-
There's people who buy, use that to their advantage because this is another thing that became, I think, in the 2010s, trolling. So there are people who will start fires online and they just sit back and watch it unfold.
Yeah.
I think we can dub 2010s the birth of trolls.
Definitely.
I hope they die in 2010s.
And Belize
Let's
has
leave
a
that-
lot of them.
Let's
Like-
leave that in 2019.
But I think you raised a point for me because when I go to a concert, it still bothers me so much that everybody has their phone,
Phone up.
Oh my
as
god.
opposed to just
Enjoy
enjoy
the
the
concert.
concert.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take
You
like
take a
everybody else.
picture
I'll
and a
take a
video.
picture,
Yeah.
etc. And then I, step back and I live in the moment.
Right.
I'm not interested in showing everybody what's
Yeah.
happening or what's not happening. But I think that has become such a major thing for me that I watch my friends even now. They do something and they have to put it.
Instantly.
I
Yeah.
refuse to snap
Yeah.
simply because I just think it's too intrusive.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. It's addictive too.
Right.
Yes.
That
Addictive,
people.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
and more they prove that you have an addiction to social media and
Yeah.
the reactions
Yes.
you
Right.
get
I think
online.
the problem is that we've become more and more narcissistic as well too.
I
But
think
you
it's
know-
just technology. Like, if you think about, I consider myself a mixture of analog and digital because I was born,
Brazilians, that's why.
I was
We're like mixed generation.
Yeah, like we're mixed generation. And so if you were born in 2000s, coming up, even maybe like 1998, all you know are devices to
Yeah.
do everything. My son didn't realize that he couldn't just touch my TV. He think that if you touch the TV, move like the tablet. So he's on the TV doing this. And
They
I'm
have
like, no, son.
They have those now too.
No,
Yeah,
they
they
do
do.
have them. I don't have one. But it just
Should
goes
have
to
said this before
show.
Christmas.
It just goes to show that if you were born at a certain time, you respond to the world so differently, and that's why it's so important
Right.
to take the device away and have it's our responsibility to do that.
And I think
It's our responsibility to do that for the next generation.
Well, if you look at
Yeah.
world trends in terms of sales for Christmas and stuff like that, there's stores who traditionally were toy stores who have closed their doors.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like Toys R Us closed down.
because they don't want to play
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
toys.
that happened in the
Well,
2010s.
and it shift, actually, I think the 2010s will be the beginning of the end of in-store
Brick and
shopping
mortar.
online.
You know
Like
something,
people have just
so-
moved
Right.
online.
yeah.
One thing where I noticed though, like especially like like the music field and it could be any field basically, but if you're not active on social media, people feel like
You don't
actually they
exist.
do thing.
Right.
Even if you do things behind the scenes, people know they say that they feel like you dead basically.
Yeah.
So and the DJ feel like they don't see you, they post a lot of stuff and they feel like active, like people
Yeah.
don't hire you for the
Guilty.
stuff again because they feel
Yeah.
like hot
Yeah.
there. But you actually do things, you just know to post it, that would kind of make it harder for people.
When
like,
social media became
if
a
you
thing,
want to stay off of it.
when social media became a thing, I was one of those people who was an advocate for it, to use for sales, marketing, that kind of thing. Now I'm struggling to get my personal life off of there and try
Yeah.
to continuously use it just for business or marketing.
Yeah.
It's a
I
real
have a
struggle.
Well, even Facebook is starting to become more advanced in using e-money now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even that will start to hold more users to continue using the social media platform. But also one of the things I noticed that social media creates a facade of
Oh my gosh.
reality.
Yes.
A lot of things we see on Facebook, that's not what actually is.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and people aren't able to separate it. But here's one thing that I always think of, and I just say, man, if you really wrap your mind around it, your life and what you're exposed to, because we all spend a lot of time on social media, whether we admit
Yeah.
it or not. it's dictated by someone else. Like they created algorithms that they think you're gonna like, which decides who you're gonna see and when you're gonna see it.
Yeah.
So I'm not even checking in on friends when I want to check in on them. I'm checking in on my friends when Facebook or Instagram has decided based on their algorithm,
And you
and
know
that's
what?
like mind blowing.
It's crazy, and you know what social media do now, that like if you're not active on it for you while they send you a message, post an update, or post a status. Like, what you tell me that?
Leave
Like,
me
you left me alone? Like, yo.
One of the interesting things about social media, and when I say social media, I mean WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, Snapchat, is dating, Instagram. You know, like I went through a situation where I was
A
just...
situationship?
No, well,
Several, but
no, not that. But I'm talking about communication.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to just communicate on the phone, and so I blocked people. Like I don't want to. Let's like we have. If this was 1998, you have to run around the corner for corner my house, come call me. I find out at home or find me. And now you just have WhatsApp.
Now we don't even want to take calls.
If I
It's
post
like text first, please.
right, and then like no, we have to have like a real conversation. So like, what if another part WhatsApp to talk to you? We not like what is hello? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This is
on.
interesting for you, especially maybe Brighton. It's just like, how do you filter? Because you are, you know, the younger ones here. And it's interesting what Ash said. It's almost like if you don't have a social media presence, you don't exist. In 2010s, I was told that I was too boring on like one person who's a big fan, and I appreciate it. It's like, you know, I never see like everybody else does it, and you never put any. I never know what's happening with you, and I'm like, but that's how I want it.
That best thing.
Right.
And so and that's just. Imagine if you're trying to come up as a media personality or social media personality, a DJ, whatever it is. How do you get yourself out there?
I mean, getting yourself out there, that you just have to be consistent with it. The problem with social media, like I say, yeah, addicting.
Yeah.
Like some days I don't want to put nothing out. I just want to keep
people
everything to
updated.
myself. But like I said, if you're not active, then people feel like you do things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just the way it is these
Thomas
days.
and
I'm
I were
like,
just talking about that because
okay.
I was saying like 2019 has been one of my most successful years for performing. I got a lot of corporate events. Like it was like, and I thought, oh, becoming a mommy would have been like, you know, but I'm able to manage it.
Yeah.
And I might not put everything out there. Like I didn't release I did release a song, but with a group of female vocalists. But
Yes, you did.
yeah, we did that song. But then I didn't do a personal song or a personal album. But people kept calling, you know, and so I realized that my artist page was where people started realizing, you know, that, oh, Jackie did this stuff, she's performing, oh, she has a band. And then I was able to get a press kit, thanks to Belgium.
And I think that's an important thing, is where you as a person, especially if you're a creative, where you're able to separate your creation and your products from your personal.
Yes.
And that's the biggest challenge for a lot of people, because that's when you get all the disappointments, you know. Because when people don't like what you're doing, people interpret it that they don't like me, you know. And so there's this whole thing in internal battle that you have to endure.
but you see a lot of people think that way. You know, a lot of people post things to get liked. But if you are a promoter and you do things like, let's say she was singer, I know a media man, I do all kind of different things. But you know, where I always tell people, you post your stuff, it no matter if you don't get like, the point is people see it. You understand? So use social media for promoting, you know, use it.
Here's the thing. Here's the biggest difference in 10 years. In 2009, we launched the show on broadcast television. In 2019, you launched your show on Facebook.
Correct.
And it shows the difference a decade makes.
Even when we did Carnival broadcasting this year, we had more views on social media, on Facebook.
Because times change. Like now people, almost everybody I know don't cut out the cable because
the cord-cutters movement is there.
you understand.
Which is why we shift to ensure that it's always available on online, because
Right.
That's where people
Everybody there online now.
So that's like what 2010 kind of taught us. There's you
Yeah.
and there's life online.
Yeah.
So you live 2 lives. In my case, I live 3. I live my life, and then I have my Facebook, and then I have my artist page. One interesting thing I found is I had to change my name from Jackie to Jacqueline, because Jacqueline is my actual real name, and some people never know that me.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
This one, last one, and I love this.
Okay.
Wakanda forever.
Why Black Panther?
Black Pride took on a new meaning this decade with all the challenges people face globally.
Yeah.
There was a focus on championing the rights of black people. Racial issues with police, authority, became a worldwide phenomenon. Worldwide cries for issues to be addressed from all corners of the world. Movies and docuseries as social advocacy tools, the resurgence of interest in African history, ancestry tests, people reconnecting,
Recognizing
to
their history.
roots.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
This decade was definitely an Afrocentric decade.
Yeah.
My sister, for example, who is a huge advocate for embracing your Afro beauty, back in 2010, she was nothing like what she is right now. And I think it's definitely the influence of it being promoted more on social media, being promoted through mainstream media. But I think if you look at the people who got recognized this past decade, you have people like Lupita Nyong'o, Taraji, people from the music industry, from the movie industry, from entertainment on a whole. And then you look at this year at the Miss Universe pageant and how that just shifted the entire conversation about beauty. All these things are influencing a greater discussion, and it's influencing how people who are from Afro descendants, how do we look at ourselves and how we embrace who we are. So definitely 2010 to 2019 was that decade that really and truly started to change the way how we.
And I think one of the biggest influence for me has been America. A lot of things that happen in America tend to trickle down into Belize somewhat, you know, and the issue with the police and profiling.
Relations,
I'm starting to. I never thought that Belize. Well, we haven't had an incident. Well, I don't know. We probably have.
With police
you know,
brutality.
Police brutality. You know, understanding when you take out that weapon that if you shoot, you can shoot to kill. You know, sometimes.
Thank goodness we don't have armed policemen very often.
Not often, but we don't.
No, we don't. Not in the way that you have American.
And it's not so much of a racial thing, and that's the
because
one thing I'm
mixed,
still so grateful
we're mixed society.
for. Yeah, we still don't have. We have it, and I think Belize is more like a classist thing than a racist thing. And there are people who experience. I'm not going to eliminate that there are people who experience it, because a lot of the times when I'm driving, police won't stop me. But if I looked a certain way and I had a certain, you know, profile, I would be stopped, you know, and I think we need to kind of look at that, because then it's a thin line. It's very tricky what we're dealing with, you know.
And I think you know, the whole conversation about diversity is perhaps the more important one for me. Because again, it's not either or. It's not male or female. It's not black or white. You have all these, you know, shades of gray in between. And I think that's the thing. And brown and yellow and everything else. And I think it's very important that we recognize that you know, you can embrace yourself without you know, diminishing other people. And I think that's the thing. Not because I assert my Afro portion of myself. That means that I have to be telling people every time, you know, like, oh yeah, my great-grandfather, he was English, white man with blue eyes and all of that. You know, it's how you balance all of that, you know.
Yeah, and you know, I thought the ancestry test was interesting because now you actually have a percentage, you know,
Yeah.
like you could actually do
Yeah.
these tests and find out how much on what part of the world
Right.
and all these things. But it is an interesting, I like what you said because in Belize, people don't always agree. But I don't think we're necessarily a racial divide. It's classism, but we also divide ourselves based on ethnicity and what we identify as.
right.
We saw issues with the Garifuna culture in the
Right.
2010s, which
Yeah.
were really critical. I can never forget Ms. Martinez, who wasn't allowed to speak Garifuna in the band.
Right,
Right.
right,
Yeah.
right. Also, too, there are some people online who thought that people were misappropriating the Garifuna culture during 19th because you had people looking at, oh, 19th is coming up, let's just have this celebration, or let's have this sale,
Yeah.
or let's have this, like it's...
Or it was a culture
It's
day
almost
versus
like
a
the
Garifuna
culture
day.
is
That was
being
also a big issue.
exploited, and this is some,
there are some people who feel like that, you
Right.
know. I tend to think a little different. I like to see more of a coming together. I like to see a child of Hispanic descent wearing a Garifuna outfit because to me that's kind of how you break down barriers.
Yeah.
You understand? That's just my take on it. A lot of people, there was a huge debate about the culture day.
Yeah.
Thing online about it eliminating, and I think we are who we are and we can't necessarily eliminate who we are.
Yeah.
It's a way for us to kind of create awareness, but that's a huge debate. So
Touching on
Yeah.
what you said about misappropriating the culture for financial gain and that kind of thing. In years past, people used to complain that if we jump straight from September celebrations into Christmas decorations in stores, that
disrespecting
it's disrespecting the fact that we have a big cultural occurrence in between. And now that it's been included in many people's marketing campaigns and stuff like that, you will still have people who
Yeah, I still hear
aren't
that.
as open-minded as yet
Yeah,
to
there are,
having
right.
Garifuna drummers outside the bank or outside your store, or to be playing Garifuna music in the store and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't please everybody all the time. You can only try and adapt to what the majority are kind of requesting and that kind of thing. And one of the things I would like to see more is a bigger education and spread on Garifuna music, because we have amazing, talented artists. I've had the privilege of working with like C. Wills and seeing how talented and knowledgeable these guys are in what they do, but it's kind of like pulling teeth to access the music if
Yeah.
you're not from the area or inclusive in certain core groups that
Yeah.
get access to these things.
Yeah,
You know?
distribution. But
Well-
distribution remains to be a big issue for any music in Belize. How we distribute it is...
I think culture is a very tricky thing, you know. What people still don't understand is when you see someone, you can't quite expect
Pinpoint.
what culture they represent.
Yep.
Because it's what you are, what's familiar to
What
you,
you've been
what
raised
you've
in,
been
yeah.
raised on.
Correct.
So, you know, I'll never forget, I'd gone to Awakate, you know, way down south. And the biggest thing at this primary school was the Miss Queen of the Bay. And they were all Maya young girls who all wanted to be Queen of the Bay. And you're there and I'm like, you know, I'm shocked because, you know, the way they had a passion for it and everything, you know, I was just floored. But it just shows you that, you know, still, you have some people who think, okay, this represents this and this
Yeah.
represents that.
Yeah.
And I think because of the way the world is moving, you know, things aren't what they always seem. And when you see a picture, you
Yeah.
still don't get the picture.
Right.
You know? So you
Yeah.
have to be
That's
mindful
why
of that.
acceptance, I think 2010s was big for acceptance.
True.
I think that's
Yeah.
what Wakanda
Yeah.
and all of that represented, our Miss
Yeah.
Universe now that we have, you know, our Queen of the Bays
Right.
were of all myriads of colors,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
our Miss Belize.
2010 was
You know?
a double crowning of.
Marlene.
Come on, these are the things you're really gonna
Yeah,
talk
that's
about when
definitely
you
a
talk about
standout.
2010.
The Little Red Riding Hood.
It's water.
sips the tea. But I know acceptance was really big in 2010.
Yeah.
You know, accepting people of sexual orientation, everything.
I was
Right.
going to say.
Right.
So we're gonna close off. I wanted to throw out some of the local ones, which I think are really important because we are, Belizeans. It's looking at Section 53 decision, which was
Yes.
actually reaffirmed in the Courts of
yesterday.
Appeal yesterday.
Yesterday.
So in the 2010s, we finally moved away from antiquated laws into full acceptance of well, not full acceptance. Let me not
And
push
it's not
that
even
far.
acceptance. It's allowing people to live their lives freely. If
Yeah.
you want to be if you are a certain religion, that's your choice.
Live
If
and let
I am a
live.
certain religion, that's my choice. If you choose to do what you choose to do, that's your choice. It's everybody's choice. It's just it's a law. You have the right, to express
define
yourself and
yourself
to
and
define
express
yourself
yourself,
how
yeah.
you want. And I think that's really it
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, well, we'll see where these challenges will go in the future. So we also have the decades of bridges and cement streets and roundabouts.
Oh my gosh. we went roundabout crazy this decade.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's like there's an intersection. Put a roundabout.
Yeah, correct.
Fit one in. The referendum definitely
Drug
important.
planes.
Oh gosh.
I think that heightened this year.
And
That
what
what?
is
This year was like,
Yeah, and these murders, these beheadings and everything else, that's worrisome in terms of where we're going, and just disappearances. I think for me that's really, you can't go out and lose yourself ever. You have
Right.
to be aware of everything that you're doing,
Yeah.
So,
So is there any one thing that stands out to you as a Belizean? If you were to look back as far as you can in the past
Yeah.
10 years.
Memes.
Just like when you think back. Memes?
Belizean memes.
Oh man, we're ruthless.
Once you say something,
Belizean rice and meat.
and it's once you say
There are a
something,
bunch of them.
and
Yeah.
it's captured, it's gonna go viral, and whole of Belize will be talking about it. So we have
Yeah.
created our own culture of memes.
Yeah.
You have memes out there, but the Belizean
Yeah,
memes.
I
the best.
may or may not regret saying this, but remember when Stop Bav was your source for
Yes, when
entertainment,
Stop
but it was
Bav-
also your source for scandal.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, and that to me was a turning point when I noticed how much Belizeans follow almost anything that you put out there, and they take it and they run with it and they blow it up to enormous proportions, which can be used for both good and bad, and has been used for both good and bad. So at least there was some good that came out of that.
And we love a good scandal in
I think what happened in 2010s, though, like the later part, people start get more sensitive. Like, to be a comedian, I think it would be difficult at the time. You can't really say nothing because everything offensive to anybody. Like that really crazy that you can't say nothing these days because somebody get offended.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I think what has changed is that traditionally, you would have these broadcast laws that would refer to TV and radio, and the people who worked in those mediums knew that they had, there was litigation.
Yeah.
So you had that. But with social media, people feel like if I can write anything about anybody, then it's okay, because I can do it, And I think that sensitivity is critical though, because it's for you to consider other people and what they may be going through. And I think it's where you develop that social conscience that goes back to the empathy that I was talking about, that we have to somehow strike a balance. I think we've had conversations, for example, where videos are depicting, I saw a video about 2 weeks ago where they're shooting down a young black man in the streets when that's the reality. I don't want to see that from my artists because that's not the direction that I think. While you have artistic freedom and artistic expression, I think you also have a responsibility to keep abreast of what is happening, So I think it's how you strike that balance.
And you speak of the political correctness. I'm thinking of Kevin Hart and what he went through.
Yeah, he got through
something
a big
10 years
thing.
ago, and it's still relevant. And it brings me back to what Jackie said in terms of looking at marginalized populations. It was okay to make fun of people because we saw them as lesser than back then. But now we have recognized where their rights are equal to ours, and they are allowed to have dignity. And so it means that the rest, the comedy and all the entertainment has to move along
Yeah.
with it. It's not necessarily
I know I'm a
political
comedian,
correctness
yeah,
isn't always. No, I hear what you're saying. I hear. I mean, because that's how it feels, and even as a consumer, that's how
Yeah.
it feels. It's like you take it to you're being
everything,
too serious.
everything is offensive. Like
Sensitive. We have a
everything.
we are very sensitive.
But it depends, you know.
Culture.
If I'm,
Yeah.
they make jokes, they make memes about me. I remember some kids asked me, "What do you do?" I said, "I laugh and let it go. What am I gonna do?" Like,
Yeah.
it's not insulting. They're just making a joke. But now, if somebody wants to attack me because I'm a woman, or let's say I was a homosexual,
Yeah.
if I was a that's different. That's attacking who I am and not just making a joke. So I think there's a line that you're right. It's
Yeah.
hard to maneuver.
I think once you've been memed, it means you've really made it in
Really
life.
arrived.
You really arrived. Yeah.
Or just very conscious of your facial reactions afterwards.
Yeah.
right?
Thereafter, yeah.
Your 2010s stand out.
Definitely, with the advancement of technology, I think 2010 was the decade where a lot of people were violated in terms of their use of the social media platforms. And so my standout, well, what I would hope for the coming decade is that we implement cybernetic laws to protect the rights and privacy of people.
And that's a way to look forward to 2020.
We did have
I'm
one.
sure we'll probably get there. We got to wrap it up. So I want to say thank you all to come in. It has been great. It's been quite a reflection. And we'll see what we'll be talking about 10 years from now. Maybe all of you will come back. All right, we're going to go ahead and take that break. So we're moving into the celebrations for tonight. That means we got to get that bottle of champagne, which means we have our friends from Carl H. Menzies here. So please stay tuned.
With over 100 years
or we play in a real life.
All right, and welcome back. And our New Year's Eve special continues. When the countdown concludes tonight, what you want to have in your hand is a glass of champagne.
That's
and
right.
here to help us make this selection for tonight, we have Amalia Quiroz, who is the manager of the beverage division at Carl H. Menzies. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year's in advance.
New Year.
Yes, yes.
All
Happy
right.
New
Bubbly
Year's.
a new year.
Yes, very much.
Yes. And so you are going to guide us through the complicated world of champagne and sparkling wine, right?
Yes,
Okay,
that's
good.
correct. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we have at Carl H. Menzies and about the product itself when it comes to champagne versus a Prosecco versus a sparkling wine in general.
Okay.
So unlike wines, it can be very complex, but I'll simplify it for Belize.
Okay.
So when we talk about champagne, champagne comes from the east of Paris, which is France.
Okay.
So it's from a small region called Champagne. So if it does not make there and comes from Champagne, it cannot be called champagne. And you'll see the label on the bottle.
Okay.
So what we have today
So which one is that?
is the
These
Charles
are
Elner.
champagnes,
Yes. So today we have the Charles Elner, and this is from Champagne, France.
Okay.
So it's can call champagne.
Yeah.
So the difference with champagne versus sparkling wine, champagne, the way it's processed, it's a specific way it's made. Unlike sparkling wine, where it's done in a different method, champagne is done in an oak barrel. It's actually aged.
Oh.
So sparkling wine are not aged. So those are some of the difference. Champagne now, it's a more expensive product, and it will tell you why, because it's one of the world's finest sparkling wine you'll ever taste.
And it's limited.
Yes. So, and we'll get an opportunity to taste Charles Elner.
We're going to have champagne for breakfast.
Yes. So when it comes to champagne as well,
But I wanted to ask a question though. So, okay, so the clear distinction is champagne is from grapes in Champagne, France, right? Anywhere else, the grapes come from anywhere else, even if they're aged in any way, it's not champagne.
Correct.
In terms of the difference in taste, what's the biggest difference that we're looking at for a champagne or a sparkling wine?
So all of them carry bubbles.
Okay.
So all of them have tiny little bubbles, and that's what makes it special about tasting a sparkling wine versus any air champagne.
Okay.
Now with this Charles Elner, the composition in the grapes, of course, are different. So with Charles Elner, it's 50% Chardonnay and 50% Pinot Noir.
Okay.
So we'll have a mixture of red and white grapes. Now, with the rosé specifically, and that's what we're going to taste today. And rosé, of course, has been trending around the world.
Yeah, that's a 2010 trend.
Yeah.
Yes, rosé.
Yeah.
So, and it perfectly fits our temperature, our climate, because we're in tropical, and the heat, you want something refreshing, you want cool, you want a lot of flavors, a lot of aromas.
And you know what it is? A lot of people have a sweet palate, so they're like sweet, and wine is just really, really dry for people. So rosé can be such a good balance between that flavor and
again, it's where it's made and the grapes they use. So when it comes to
Where's rosé made? Pardon my ignorance.
No, rosé, it can be made anywhere in the world.
Okay, it's
So
not-
unlike this Charles Elner, the entire line is from Champagne, France. We do have another rosé. This is from California, and it's from the Ménage à Trois line.
Okay.
So it can be made
And that one
different.
is dry.
Yes.
Okay.
So and it's funny you mentioned sweet, because our Belizean community love sweet.
I know.
So we do have a
Moscato.
Moscato.
Cheese Moscato. I was gonna tell you,
Moscato.
like that's why I was playing up the sweet.
So we're excited about this new line, and it's the Mioneto. And we do have a Moscato Sparkling. So
Wow.
this is for you.
This is
And
your
this is a
champagne
must
bottle,
try.
your New Year's bottle.
Yes. So when you want if you want something sweet, then definitely it's a Moscato Sparkling to go. Now, one of the things about sparkling is that you have to drink it at the right temperature. It's
Yeah.
very, very important. And the temperature would be between 40 degrees to 48 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really cool for us.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why you have to be very careful, otherwise the bubble won't taste the same. So it's very important it's at the right temperature. That's key. Now, when it comes to the Mionetto line, this is actually our top seller in the wine cellar when it comes to the Mionetto Brut.
Okay.
The Prosecco.
The Prosecco.
Yes. So the Prosecco comes from a different grape called the Glera grape, and it's from Italy. So this pairs well with Italian food or Asian food, like when we're talking about pasta, pizza. It's a perfect pairing for that.
Yeah.
Versatile with the sparkling wine and champagne. It's really versatile and it goes with almost any food. So
Okay.
that's one of the amazing thing when you're thinking about maybe you don't know what to pair well with a white or red wine. Then you can go with a sparkling wine.
Okay.
And it fits any occasion.
So
But
you shouldn't just go for what you like.
yes, you go for what you like. But
Because-
let's say you want to play it safe. Let's say you
Yeah.
have guests over and you're having a small gathering and you don't really know if they like red, if they like white. You get a combination, but then you could always have a sparkling because there's so much thing you can do with a sparkling. You can do mimosas, you can do sparkling as a cocktail, you can have it by itself, and you can have it with food. For example, with the champagne, you can have it with appetizer. It goes best with appetizer.
Yeah.
Popcorn. Oh my God. Champagne and popcorn.
And the prosecco pairs well with either one, with appetizer or fresh food like seafood.
Okay.
Seafood, like when we're talking fresh oyster. So it pairs very well with that.
Ooh. Okay, so we have the cupcake here too?
Yes, so the different prosecco we have in store right now is the Mionetto line. That would be the Brut. We're talking a Moscato, and then we have a Rosé as well.
Okay.
And we also have a cupcake prosecco, which is famously known.
Yeah,
What's
everybody
that-
likes
why
that
is it
cupcake.
called cupcake?
It's the brand.
It's the name of
It's the
the brand, right?
Yes.
So you
Okay.
get to say you have a bottle of cupcake.
Okay.
How often do you say
And
that?
they do have cupcake wine. So
Yeah,
this
they
is the
do,
prosecco.
yeah.
Okay.
And prosecco as well is a sparkling wine.
Okay. So, what do we have over
So-
this side?
So now we spoke about champagne.
Prosecco.
Yes, and the finest of it. So let's say you want to make a statement. Let's say you want to give a gift.
Okay.
This is the perfect gift to give. It's a statement by itself.
You mean reunity is not a gift?
If you want to give something worth a statement,
I say go for it. Do it.
I will always remember the commercial. I think it was for Reunity where the maker says, "The finer the bubbles, the finer the wine."
You were a child then, right?
Yeah.
We're not gonna ask that kid.
So now to my left, we would have the rest of the sparkling we have.
Okay.
And one of the famously known sparkling is our Luc Belair.
Yes.
Which is endorsed by many different rap artists.
Yeah.
And we're talking DJ Khaled, Rick Ross.
Yeah.
So these are very popular in the US and worldwide. So it is a good sparkling.
Yeah.
And it's from Italy.
Nice. I know this is very well known, and you have the rosé, right?
So yes, then we will move over to the section. So let's say you want an inexpensive sparkling wine. We do have that. So we start at the Santa Carolina. It's from Chile.
Okay.
And the good thing about Santa Carolina, they have an extremely large selection, from wines to sparkling. And the sparkling, what you could expect in terms of taste, it's very flavorful. It has a lot of green apples. When we're talking about a little zesty with lemon. So that's what you should expect from Santa Carolina. It has a lot of aromas, a lot of flavors.
Okay.
I like.
All right. So let's see if you're really gonna like.
And one of the good thing about what we're celebrating to bring in New Year's is that we're offering 25% on our entire selection. 25%
Sparkling
on
wine,
any
champagne.
sparkling and champagne.
Any.
So to give you an idea, the Santa Carolina starts at $30. So that's not something you could pay for a sparkling wine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So take advantage. This offer ends today at noon.
Wow.
So we
and the
have
champagnes?
all
Everything
Yes.
is okay.
And the good thing about the Charles Elner, we have it in the 375 milliliter. And we also have it, so let's say you want just a couple drink, then the 375 will work for you. And we also have it in the 750 milliliter. So, for example, the 375 goes,
this one.
It goes for $42.
Nice.
And the 375, the one that we're gonna sample, is at 88, and that's with the discounted price.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, all right. Well, let's get into a proper champagne etiquette with opening the bottle. Do you remember how to do this, William?
I think so.
Go for it.
Okay.
It's only a New Year's tradition.
Yeah. This is the hardest part for me.
But you can talk him through some tips, right? So somebody gets maybe it's a big night, it's a celebration night. They want to be.
It's always to remove the foil that.
At the top, yes.
Yeah, that's a big. Oh, all right. There, I found it.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Remember this.
Yes.
And you're supposed to turn it away from lights or everything else or people.
Anything that it may break.
Yeah.
Yes, you can always support it on your body or on the table, the bottom of it.
While in the TV, they shake it first. That's actually not what you want to.
No.
You just wasted all your money.
No, don't waste a Charles Elner or any champagne.
And now
it's worth drinking.
Twist until we hear it.
There you go.
See? And let me see if I could serve. I need it.
All right, and how do we serve it?
So if you're serving a guest,
Yeah.
You want to turn the label towards your guest so that
they
they
can
see.
see.
Yes, so
All
you
right,
present it.
I'll do it like my guess is on TV because you are.
Uh-huh.
I'll have the taste though. So.
And then you tilt it and pour it.
Okay.
So make sure your label always face your guest.
Is that enough?
Yes. For us, yes. For your
8
guests.
in the morning, yes.
All right, let me do the same. See?
So this is the rosé.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh. And it looks so pretty. And you actually want the long, tall glasses, right? That makes a difference?
Yes, so a champagne or any sparkling wine should serve in
That's
a
them.
flute, in a champagne flute. Why you need the bubbles to sort of open.
Look at the bubbles.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
2. All right, so we're looking at the bubbles. There that is. And here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To 2020.
Yes. So do you taste the...
It's like all mini explosions in your
Yes,
mouth.
and that's
I love
how
it.
it's supposed to taste.
Yeah. I like champagne. I actually...
I'm not going to talk. I'm just in a moment.
You're enjoying all the fireworks on your tongue?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's advisable for you to, and we have it already cold in the cellar because today is New Year's and you don't have time to really, to chill it. You can stop in the wine cellar. We already have some on ice for you. So you can just stop in, pick it up, and it's good to go.
Do you need to come with your ice bucket to keep it cool?
All right, so
So ice box is fine.
So from price ranging from $30 up to
$88.
$88, you can get your bottle of champagne. Actually, there's this little one too, if you want to
For
get the
42,
actual
yes.
champagne.
And that would give you like what, 2 glasses?
It can give you up to 3, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, you know, there's no reason you really shouldn't make it a celebration. Start off the new decade, the new
Be
year.
good to yourself.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Anything else you'd like to share with us? How to get rid of a champagne hangover? I don't know.
No, that's one of the
Drink
good
more
things about
champagne.
champagne.
The alcohol content is a little bit higher?
No. The
me
Charles
see.
Elner, they have different alcohol content. Unlike the Charles Elner, let's say
12%.
versus, this is standard with wine.
Okay, so You can't blame the champagne. It's just how many glasses you had.
And then versus like the Menage is at 11%. So
Okay.
it varies between 11 to 12. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Well, cheers, everybody,
Cheers.
to 2020.
Cheers.
Amalia,
And
thank you
yes.
for coming in. We do appreciate it. And Happy New Year to you and your entire team as well.
Yes, I want to encourage everybody to come in. We open up to 12 noon today. So come in, take advantage of the sale, and get ready for later.
That's right.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll be telling you about the big party at Radisson. So please stay tuned.
Signing up for Smart's
And welcome back. We're moving into our final segment for today's show, and we're going to continue with the party mood. And of course, this means that we're going to ring in 2020. And to tell us how it is done at Radisson Fort George Hotel and Marina, in case you didn't know, which has become a tradition for quite a number of years.
It's a New Year's Eve staple in Belize City.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Joining us, we have sales manager from the Radisson Fort George. We have Demi Williams.
Hi.
We have our special performer, DJ Emperor.
Hello.
Hello.
And we have bartender, Josephine.
Hi. Hi.
Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the end of year party, and of course, this time it's the end of decade party.
Yes.
At Radisson. How long has it been going on?
This is actually our 8th year doing this New Year's Eve party. And every year we've done it, it just keeps getting bigger. Every single year. So every year we try to bring a new dynamic, mix it up so we have something for all audiences to come down to the Radisson and have good, safe, clean fun.
Kick off your shoes.
Kick off your shoes, or you could just bring flats. Yes, I do recommend bringing flats. So it's the last party of the year, but it's also the first party of the year.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
we try to bring it in for a bang. We want to end 2019 with a bang and bring in 2020 with an even bigger bang.
Yeah.
Now, you've partnered with DJ Emperor. How did that happen?
How did it happen? You can tell us about that.
Well, I'm a DJ from New York. I've DJed for many Belizean events up in New York. So then, the connection came from there. My name came down here in Belize, and then I'm here.
Yeah. You said New Year's in Belize. Why not?
Of course.
That's
way to
how
bring
it
it in.
happens.
Yep.
In warm climate.
What can people expect in terms of your musical kind of selection, etc.?
Well, we're going to be spinning everything from old school to new school, soca, reggae, dancehall, disco, everything. Just want people to come out and have fun. We're entertaining, different ages. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Come out, have fun, and bring in the new year in a bang, as she said.
Hey.
Now, Demi, definitely, the Radisson party is one of the sought-after parties across the country. If you're in Belize City, that's where you want to go.
Right.
But it also means that you got to plan effectively for it. Like, get those tickets. Do you usually have hotel room packages?
Yes, we do
there's
have
a lot.
hotel room packages. They're still available.
Yeah.
So you could call our front desk and make your reservation. They're for single, double occupancies. It is inclusive of breakfast.
Yes.
So you could get breakfast with your room,
Yeah.
and it brings a swag bag. So your swag bag has all your New Year's Eve amenities. So you can go to the party, have a wonderful time, head back up to your room, come down when you're ready for breakfast. It's a full, complete package, all in one location.
Yeah. So there are some rooms left. You got to call now.
We do have some rooms available, so I encourage everyone to make that call, 223-3333, and have the front desk
Easy
book that
number.
room. Right.
Yeah.
Just dial 3 till you can't anymore and make your reservation.
Yeah. And you also make extra accommodation for parking?
Yes. This year, as all years, we have secured parking. We have our shore park that's on property, and then we have the curbside parking at the end of the street where the Morale parking is. That lot is also available, and those have security. So tonight we have our in-house security. We have a security that we hire, to circle the perimeter, as well as having police presence. So you can park your vehicle safely, no worries. We'll take care of you, and we'll take care of your car.
So what's the lineup for tonight? We got DJ entertainment. What can we expect from you? What type of music are you bringing to us?
So as I mentioned, we're going to be bringing some soca music, a lot of soca, dancehall, old school, disco, some souls, of course.
What?
But along with me, we also have the Gil Harry Band, the Harry 7 Band, and the Youth Connection Band. So we'll be alternating, and we have music for everybody. So
did you just say souls?
Yeah.
I have not heard souls in I don't know. No, I mean it's a good thing. I've always said it's terrible that we just stopped playing it, right? When's the last time we danced souls? Right?
You don't get it in the clubs anymore.
It was not in
Belize.
2010, so thank you. You're starting 2020 on the right foot.
That's how we're going to do it.
Okay.
Well, the club environment is very different from what we're doing at the Radisson, and
Yeah.
we've always tried to make it a more, well, for the more mature audiences per se, but to have like a good experience, a good, kind of like opulent, that's the word I always throw around.
Yeah.
And you have enough space because it's outdoor, you don't have to worry about being hot in a corner, the sea breeze is there, we have the area nicely decorated. Actually, we also have a selfie station tonight.
Wow.
So when you come in, when the doors open at 9, you get your party favors right at the door. So we have all of these party favors, and that's included within your ticket.
Yeah.
You get your welcome drink, and then we have our selfie station with selfie props. And we have our photographer, as we have every single year, to get your nice pictures, because if you don't do your hair, your makeup, why not take a nice picture before you sweat all that out?
So you have a photographer available as well.
Right. Every year we have our photographer, and he comes and he takes pictures at the selfie station, as well as a roaming. He has his team, so they have roaming photographers throughout. Yeah, that's.
So you need to kind of the night on arrival and the morning on departure pictures.
I would not want to see those pictures.
No, why not?
Because
you can show pictures of what's left behind, like the pieces of shoes and the.
I've been curious to ask the cleanup crew how many shoes they found and if they've ever found matching pairs. Because a lot of the times it's like one left foot there, another left foot the other side. It's amazing how we even have grass
you're
on the lawn.
having. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of fun, because Gil Harris 7 Youth Connection Band, when that bass start hit, when that band start play, all ages run out.
Yeah.
Like as a manager, you're working and you're like, man, you had to try nothing, go on to man your station. But I mean, the vibe is there. It's just a euphoric kind of environment, and you're with people that you love. So we do encourage you to bring your families. We had tables for reservation, but those are all gone now.
Did that's first time? Is that because you didn't used to reserve before?
No. Before it was, first come, first serve. Open seating. So we did the reservations today, this year rather, and those are all gone. That doesn't mean that we don't have seating available. We do have some seats available, but of course,
get there when the door opens.
Get there when the door opens, and usually when those doors open at 9, we always have a line.
Yeah. And drinks. I mean, everybody's gonna be.
We'll be having.
Ensuring that they see your face.
Ask her by name.
We'll be having happy hour drinks on sale. Wines, champagnes, different cocktails and stuff.
What do people normally drink on New Year's Eve?
Champagne.
Champagne?
Yes, and mixed drinks.
And mixed drinks, all right. So they go for the strong ones, right?
Yeah, the strong
to forget
ones.
the year from before.
Yeah.
All right, and you have multiple bars available?
Yes, we do have, I think it's 3 bars that will be open. So the Stone Grill bar is open, the Bayman's Tavern bar is open, and then we open a bar underneath our deck.
Okay.
So that's available too. So there is no excuse for you not to get your drink.
Yeah.
We have 3 bars, and we have them fully stacked. We have enough staff to make sure that those bars stay replenished. We're opening our stores, our internal stores, to make sure that everything is stocked to time. It's all hands on deck tonight, actually.
I want to ask another question. Well, a lot of people want to drink. A lot of people want to eat as well.
Of course.
What's there to eat?
Well, as always, we have our infamous, very, very great cow foot soup.
Put it back.
Yeah. that's the showrunner. Like cow foot soup, they not bracket by itself. So that's available. We also have rice and beans, stew chicken, and potato salad. And if you're not,
what time?
That is available for service at 9 o'clock, and we have that from 9 till we close at 4, or when the party finishes at 4. But if you don't really want to eat the whole lot of rice, or for some reason you're one of those people that don't like cow foot soup, I don't know you. We do have finger foods available, so we have wings, stuffed peppers, and chips and dip. And all of that's available from 9 to 4.
For the chips and dip?
Some girls don't want to eat because they want to make sure they look right in the dress. And then halfway through the night, they want to tear it up.
Let's be real about this. It's a long night. New Year's Eve is a long
night. And if for some reason you never catch the food before 4, at 4 to 6, we have our epic New Year's Eve breakfast being served. For $10, you can get fried jacks, Christmas ham, scrambled eggs, fried beans.
And it's not just for people who've been at Radisson.
Right,
I
you
be
could
coming
come
from my house party and like
Exactly,
go to your
you could
breakfast.
come from home.
Where will it
and
be served?
It's served right at the St. George's, so you can come and you get your breakfast served. So that's on from 4 to 6. And so if any reason you missed that, Le Petit is also going to be open on January 1st. They open at 6, straight through.
Does
So
it mean
let's
that
talk. Go
You
ahead.
have to be in by 6, or you have to finish eating at 6?
Means after that you buy off the regular menu.
Right, we do have our buffet, our breakfast buffet that will be available till 10 a.m.
All right.
All right, so let's talk tickets. Is
Yes.
there a limited amount available? Because I want to know if maybe I can change my mind tonight and go there.
You can change your mind and go there tonight because we do have tickets available at the door.
Okay.
Right now, you can get your tickets at our front desk, and they're for $60 single, $100 for the couple. So if you want to come, find a friend and you can save a little extra
$10.
cash. Yeah, save a little. You could get your breakfast money right now, William.
Mark?
No, I stopped pretending with you a long time. That's so 2010. All right, so let's talk about being able to, you said you have security,
Yes.
there's enough parking, there's food available all night, there's going to be a selfie station. What's
We do give a champagne toast at midnight as well. So our staff will be wielding out the champagne para gratis. Well, it comes with your ticket, and you can toast when the fireworks go off.
I was gonna say you get a front row seat to the fireworks as well.
Well, the sky will be wide open, so wherever those fireworks are popping off from, you will see it off our deck.
Besides the ones in your mouth with the champagne.
With the bubbles will be popping off.
Which, we're doing some cheers this morning. Is there a toast
Yes,
that's coming?
I noticed that Beverage Center has beat us to the punch in getting you guys champagne.
We'll go.
But we have second spread here for you all.
Woohoo!
That's Josephine knows how to open that bottle. I don't.
You guys ready? Yeah. But I mean, you know, why do you think that people enjoy this party so much? Because it's not just like a mature audience. It's young people.
Young
older
people are
people,
there.
In between, it's everybody.
I think people just want to do something a little bit more upscale for New Year's.
Yeah.
We've spent the entire year doing everything else. We've been to all the other venues. Why not do something a little bit more different? Dress up, have a nice backdrop to take your pictures.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a nice environment to just have good fun.
Yeah.
So is there a dress code?
There is your own personal dress code. But you know, people are gonna dress up. I guarantee you tonight I'm gonna stand at that door and I will see ladies in their best. I'm gonna see guys with their jackets all nicely trimmed and tailored.
Yeah.
It's a good dress up event. If you're gonna dress up one time a year, do it on New Year's Eve and do it at the Radisson.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have a photographer there and all the back.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Showstopper.
Man.
A lot of that will be happening tonight.
Can you get bottle service? Like, can you get a bottle at your
Of
table?
course, you could get your bottles. We have several persons that they order the black labels by the bottle.
Yeah. Rather than waiting to go back to the bar.
Right, that's another class favorite.
Yeah.
Black Label goes pretty fast. I didn't know Belize had so many whiskey drinkers, but you know, we come ready for them.
All right. So the drink of choice for tonight is definitely going to be
The bubbles.
some bubbly.
Thank you.
Fireworks, fireworks, fireworks.
You guys are just having a wonderful morning, aren't you?
Well, you know, after the first sip, it was downhill from there. It's just like
It's all uphill.
All right.
So it starts at 9.
It starts
sharp.
at 9. Doors open at 9 and we go until 4 a.m. So even if you don't,
You got to tell people, no, put out people then.
we not put out nobody.
Oh, okay, well,
but we
I
cut
know
music at 4 o'clock. After that, you could sing your song. You could sing for your breakfast at that point.
No,
But yes,
I know, you know, your good coffee, they have to cut, well, they don't have no lights to cut off at that point, or put on, or whatever.
4 o'clock is still dark.
Yeah, but, you know, people are still want in the party mood.
But I mean, you have a lot of time, so you can go watch the countdown. You can come and join us after the countdown. If you're at a party that You know the feeling.
You know they happen.
You know they happen. You know that happens. You can come party with us.
Yeah. What time is your set?
Well, as I mentioned, we're just gonna alternate between
Okay.
me, myself, and the two bands. So
And what are you looking forward to in the party tonight?
I'm just looking forward to people having fun and bringing the new year and a blast. Just want to see everybody happy and enjoying themselves.
Okay, so there you go, 2019 or the end of 2010s. We
Put
can
it to bed.
close it off.
The end of a decade.
At the Radisson. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Did we go over ticket prices?
Yes, we did. But just to reiterate, it's $60 for the single and $100 for the couple.
All right, and you can get a special room package, which means
You can get your
stay at the Radisson.
Right. So even if you're coming from out district or you're from the city, if you don't want to drive, you can get your room, and just after the party is finished, you get your breakfast, you go upstairs, and you could sleep it off.
No sleeping in your car, okay?
You can nap and then come back and finish the party.
Right.
right.
You can take your power nap and come back.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers to you at home. We're going to go ahead and take that final break. And when we come back, it'll be for a wrap up. So stay tuned.
It's the end of the party, and the morning seems so gray, so unlike yesterday. Now's the time for us to say Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have
With
been an absolute privilege to have your continued trust in what we do here at Great Belize Productions Channel 5. Thank you for staying with us, and may your holiday be filled with peace and joy.
So this is what happens when you have champagne at 8 a.m. Kids, be advised, don't try this at home.
And the biggest question for the day is, which champagne?
Rosé or Brut? It was a Brut, right? Do you see why he's not here anymore? This is the type of behavior he used to bring, right?
It's good.
Okay, which one? Make a decision.
It's not either or, it's both.
All right, you know, Will, it's so great having you here. I'm sure everybody is happy to see your face. You know, we kicked off 2010 together, and we're closing off the 2010s together. So it's great having you here.
Where did 10 years go?
I don't know. I'm going to struggle to find it by the end of the day and get ready for the 2020s. It's looking forward. You know, I think there are lots of exciting possibilities. And that's where I think we all need to focus. I'm sure we've all had tough times in the 2010s. We'll take a toast. We'll say we learned something. We got stronger. We're better for it. And we'll look forward to all the great things that lie ahead for the 2020s. And we really do wish you the very best. We have to say that much. I want to say thank you, of course, to our panelists who joined in this morning.
Yeah, it was fun to talk about so many things and from so many different perspectives, of course. You know, it's interesting to always be reminded that we don't all see the world through the same lens.
Yeah.
And I think today was a classic example of that.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's cool to think back of, you know, when you talk about the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s, like we now have a decade that we'll reference as the 2010s, and they're so fresh in our memory. And I'm trying to think of all the things that we've just added to it that I never really thought of before. The Radisson Party, for example, started in the 2010s. You'll be able to say that later on in their history.
I was there when they first started.
Yeah. William left me in the 2010s, you know. But there's a lot that took place just locally with history, globally with historic moments, and it's been fun. Let's get ready for a brand new decade.
That's right, and as we move into 2020, remember the only goal is to be a better you, be a truer you, and be more authentic yourself. Whatever that is, don't let people should, could, or would you into anything that you don't want to do.
All right, so that's it for us here at Open Your Eyes. We will see you next year. Remember, you want to wake up at 6:30 on Thursday morning when you open your eyes
to start your morning right. Until then, have a safe one, everybody. Drink plenty of champagne, kick off your shoes and dance like no one's watching.
That's
and then put it on social media, they'll all watch.
Enjoy some champagne, some family time, some time with your loved ones, and look forward to the future with some positive energy. And tune back into us in 2020. We'll see you next year, everybody. Have a great one.
Cheers.
Cheers. Now we need the fireworks that goes.
No more champagne, and the fireworks are through. Here we are, me and you, feeling lost and feeling blue. It's the end of the party, and the morning seems so gray, so unlike yesterday. Now's the time for us to say Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have a vision now and then of a world where every neighbor is a friend. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have our hopes, our will to try. If we don't, we might as well lay down and die. You and I. Sometimes I see how the brave new world arrives.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.